Hey everyone, welcome back to the Living in Maryland channel where we discuss all things living here in the great state of Maryland. And today we're going to be talking about the top suburbs for first-time home buyers here in the great state of Maryland. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop into Google Maps. I'm going to walk you through several different areas, just areas that are ideal for first-time home buyers based on the feedback that I've gotten from clients over years of selling real estate as a realtor here in Central Maryland. So, these are going to look like counties like Howard County, Anne Arundel County, Prince George's counties, a couple others as well, mainly because those are counties surrounding Fort Meade. Fort Meade is Maryland's largest employer. These areas also put you pretty decently close commuting wise to areas in Baltimore, other areas in Central Maryland, even not too bad of a drive down to DC, which obviously has a ton of employment opportunities as well. So we're going to jump into a video discussing all of these areas that are ideal for first-time home buyers. And if you ever have any questions, please let me know, and let's jump into the video. All right, so we are jumping into the maps and we are starting with Howard County. So today, as discussed, we are talking about top suburbs in Central Maryland for first-time home buyers. So we're going to start here on the west side. We're going to move south a little bit and then come back north a little bit. And as I mentioned, a lot of the reason why we see a lot of these areas that I'm going to talk about is because you got Fort Meade right here, right in the heart of Central Maryland as Maryland's largest employer. So, and then there are a lot of, other jobs around that too with contracting and all that stuff. This is kind of one of the biggest reasons as to what's driving a lot of these areas that I'm going to talk about here. So first we're going to start in Howard County. We got Ellicott City. So Ellicott City is it's got a lot of demand. Howard County is very well known for its schools in general, and Ellicott City is going to be towards the top end of Howard County schools in general as well. So you got a lot of demand for that. When it comes to commuting and accessibility for commuting, it's up there with any area in Central Maryland. So this is all of Ellicott City right here. So when you're in this, when you're anywhere in Ellicott City, you are just minutes away from 100, which is cutting you east and west through Central Maryland, 29 running you north and south. You've got 70 cutting you right over. This is Baltimore's Beltway, which is 695. So if you're commuting into Baltimore, it's a straight shot. You've got Route 40, which takes you all the way in. So you have so many options. Now, the last couple years, and unfortunately with the Key Bridge going down, the Beltway traffic has been noticeably having more traffic. It's pretty bad. So, you've got this corridor here, 795 all the way down to 95, in my opinion, being just the most congested part of the Beltway. And it's just bad. There's endless and ongoing construction here. That's another contributing factor. Very low speed limits and stuff, just because unfortunately there was an accident here with some fatalities, construction workers and stuff right in this region. So, you've got this part of the Beltway just having a lot of traffic. So when you're talking about Ellicott City, you've got options where you can come in here, you can take 40 here, you can come take, depending on what part you're in, you can come take this to 95 and in. So you've got a lot of different options. You're only about 20 minutes from BWI. So Ellicott City has a lot to offer when it comes to, one, schools, and then two, just being very, very commutable to a lot of different areas, whether it's Fort Meade, Baltimore, or even coming down to, DC area. It's a straight shot. Now that's going to be at least a good hour probably, because you got to account for some traffic when you're coming from Ellicott City, but there's a lot of people that do it, especially if they're still able to work from home a little bit and only go in once or twice a week. There's a lot of people that still make that commute when you're in Ellicott City. And then you've got, I think Ellicott City is about 80,000 population. Howard County as a whole is about 330,000. So it's a smaller county population-wise. And Columbia being really the hub of Howard County, having around 100,000 population, but just all the entertainment, all the shopping, a lot of it is going to be in Columbia. So when you're in Ellicott City, you get to really just be close by and still tap into what Columbia has to offer. So Ellicott City, this is a big driver for why I see young people and people in general focusing on that area. Next, we're going to move just south to Columbia, about 15 minutes south, straight down 29 corridor here. You've got a large Columbia Mall here. You've got the newer Merriweather district right in here. So you've got a really, the thing that stands out about Columbia that a lot of young people really like is you've got the urban mixed with the suburban. So you've got they've been really, especially the Merriweather district specifically, is kind of has that vibe. So you've got like a lot of newer apartment and condo, living spaces right in the same area as, new restaurant districts and stuff like this, which is really, family friendly, young people friendly and stuff like that. And then, like I said, just a lot of the entertainment and a lot of the shopping is kind of concentrated in Columbia. So, you get people from all over Howard County coming here. Now, Columbia is great. You got 3 lakes. You got Wild Lake, Kinnemukundy right here, and then Elkhorn down here. So they've got walking trails interconnected throughout the entire city. So it is very, it's got a lot to offer, where young families and young people are kind of attracted and driven towards it. So I can't go into a ton of detail in this video on Columbia. I do have a ton of Columbia videos. So if that's an area you want to consider, feel free to jump in there. And again, similar to Ellicott City, is for commuters, it's great. You've got 29, you're 15 minutes closer to DC, 15 to 20 minutes closer, especially if you're down in this part of Columbia. That's straddling 32. You're a good 20 minutes closer to DC than anyone in Ellicott City. So, Columbia is pretty big. It's stretching from like 108 here down to 32 and all the way over like in this region here, right here. So, and there's parts of Columbia that are south of 32 as well, right in this area. So Columbia's got a lot to offer as far as, being very, very central. That's a big thing that people like about it too, is it's very central. So, you're just 20 minutes to Fort Meade. You're 20 minutes to BWI. You're 25 minutes into the heart of Baltimore. And you're, 40 to 45 minutes from DC. So, it's got a lot to offer when it comes to centrality and all that kind of stuff as well. Staying in Howard County, we're going to move just south to Fulton. Fulton's a great area. So you got the county line right here, which is the Patuxent River. And you got the largest community in Fulton being Maple Lawn, which is like right in here. It's a planned development. It's got condos, townhomes, detached homes, tons of amenities that people like, and it's just a very desirable place. And this is going to tailor a little more to people commuting to Montgomery County, which is going to be south of the river here, and then getting you that much closer to DC right here. So you can see that that's not as bad of a commute into DC. So Fulton is another area that is attractive. Now, it's a smaller area, and outside of Maple Lawn, it gets a little more rural. Like when you move, Maple Lawn's right in here. When you move a little west of 29, then it's just going to be more like detached homes, more on, an acre or two. Well, and septic is going to be a lot more prevalent here. So Fulton is a smaller area, but it is an area that people really like when they're focusing on wanting to be in Howard County, wanting to have good schools, and also wanting to try to be a little closer to DC and Central Maryland as a whole. So, and then wrapping up Howard County, these are some smaller areas that not a lot of people talk about that I wanted to mention, is you've got Savage and Jessup. So these are very small population-wise right here. But these are areas, especially if you want to be in the Central Maryland area for Fort Meade and any, BWI work and government contracting work and stuff like that. These are great areas that are just a short little skip to these areas. Even to Baltimore, you still got Route 1, 95, and 295, the BW Parkway here, taking you right north to Baltimore and straight south to DC. So these are great little areas, as well that are getting some development, not a lot because they are small, but they are, growing, and they're areas that are very convenient to a lot of employment opportunities. So these are a couple cool little areas to check out as well.
As always, I'd just like to mention that I am a licensed realtor here in the great state of Maryland. So if you ever have any real estate questions of what it looks like for you to buy or sell a home here in Maryland and just want to have a conversation of what that looks like, feel free to reach out anytime, however you are most comfortable, and we would love to have a conversation with you.
All right, next we are going to move south to Bowie. Now, Bowie is in Prince George's County, so we're moving a little southeast over into Prince George's, aka PG County. And this is just a great area that just has a ton of diverse housing options. It's a big area, so it's just got a lot of opportunity. I know some of the other areas I was telling you about in Howard County, and mentioning that Howard County is a small population county in general of like a little over 300,000. PG County is a million people, maybe more now. So, and Bowie is one of the bigger areas in this part of PG County. So, you got a ton of different housing options for whatever budget you might be looking for. And then one of the biggest things that Bowie has to offer is, again, proximity to different things, but you've got a straight shot out here to Annapolis area. And then you've got Bowie just being a short drive down to out to DC here. So again, it's just something that's very, very convenient. So you got 50 here that's cutting you right into DC, and from Bowie, it's very easy to get down here to 450 and over to 50. So again, it's just from a convenience standpoint, you got a lot of people here in the area that are going to be working in like the PG County area here, which is just piggybacking off of a lot of economic things with DC, and then a lot of people working right in DC. So Bowie is a great area as well. It's also surrounded by a lot of woods and stuff like that. So it's not an area that has a ton of noise or significant traffic outside of like the highways and stuff like that. So it is kind of like a little more of an insulated area because of all these like woods and forests and stuff that are surrounding it. So Bowie is a great area to check out, especially if you are someone who's wanting to be a little closer to Annapolis or a little further south to be able to be closer to DC or Montgomery County. This is going to be another great area to check out, which is Bowie, Maryland, and Prince George's County. Now we are going to move. We're going to move just a little bit east, and now we're going to be jumping into Anne Arundel County, which is Crofton is one of the more southern parts of this part of Anne Arundel County. So Crofton is great. It's even a little closer than Bowie to Annapolis. So a lot of people like to be close to Annapolis for work opportunities. It's got great downtown and historic districts and stuff like that. It's just a great area to be close to. Of course, being on the water, it's something that's very attractive to a lot of people. And again, right here at 450 is just a straight shot out, okay, which gets you to 50, and then of course to the Bay Bridge, which is also pretty convenient. So Crofton is great. Now Route 3 is the main drag through Crofton here. This has got a ton of shopping and entertainment. So whatever you need as far as retail entertainment, you're going to have pretty close by right here in Crofton, which is also another very nice thing about Crofton. So and also it's not too far from Fort Meade. So right here, so you're looking at a good 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes depending on traffic, because Route 3 is very busy. So that's kind of one of the downsides of this is you got a lot of lights, and there's not a whole lot of highways nearby. You got 97 here, but it's kind of splitting off east. So a lot of people are taking Route 3 to get down here to 50 and stuff like this, to cut from this part of Anne Arundel County down here to PG County and to get to wherever they're going to, more than likely the greater DC area. So, you just need to be prepared for that it's got a lot of stop and go with lights and stuff like that, but you still are relatively close to the Fort Meade area and all the opportunities for employment that has to offer. And then jumping up here, another area we wanted to talk about was going to be the Arnold and Severna Park area. So this is going to be another great area that a lot of young people and people in general are targeting. You know, Severna Park's got great public schools. There's a lot of private schools in Maryland, so I'm not going to speak to those just because there's so many and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to public schools, you know, people that I talk to a lot, they are focusing on parts of Howard County. They're focusing on, you know, parts of Anne Arundel County, specifically Severna Park, Arnold, you know, Crownsville here as well. So this is another thing that's bringing people here that people really like about Severna Park is you've got, you know, lots of nice detached home, you know, opportunities if you're looking to purchase, but you've also got those, you know, higher ranked public schools that people are kind of chasing after as well. And the other thing that I will say about Severna Park and Arnold is you got Ritchie Highway here, which is Route 2. So again, this is just kind of one of those things of it's similar to Route 3 where it's got a lot of stop and go with lights and stuff because this is easily 3 to 4 lanes each side running north south. So, you know, a lot of times when I'm coming home from the Bay Bridge, if there's traffic on 97, because the quickest way with no traffic, all things being equal, for me, coming home to Howard County is taking 50 to 97 all the way up to 100, cutting over to Howard County, right? But a lot of times with traffic here, it's cutting me through Route 2 on Ritchie Highway up to 100 here. So you do have a lot of traffic. This almost feels a little more like a stop and go interstate because of the lights. I mean, it's got that many, it's got a lot of car activity because of that. You know, it's almost like it's just it's another option to from 97 just because of how many people are coming and going, especially in the summertime when so many people are coming down here and going to Ocean City. So, but with that said too, is if you're in Arnold especially, you're just minutes away from 50, which is going to cut you over to DC. And then you have all that shopping and entertainment and stuff, just convenience when you're living in these areas as well of being close to Ritchie Highway and all the shopping and stuff that it's got there. So, so those are another couple areas to check out too, and as well that are just a skip over to Annapolis, which is always nice to be close to Annapolis.
All right, everyone, thanks so much for joining us on today's video tour. We look forward to seeing you at the next video.